And taking a live look outside this morning, that sun is shining. Actually, this is Skyfox giving us this view. Mike says we'll see plenty of sunshine today, but it won't help the temperatures much. Mike, that is too bad.
But it will feel warmer than it did yesterday because it won't be as windy. It won't be as cloudy. So I don't think it's going to be that bad out there. But of course, we're waiting for what day?
Friday.
That's the day. Mid to upper 50s on the way. Today, you have to settle for mid 30s out there. But with the sunshine, it's not going to be too bad for late February. 29 degrees at 9, lots of sun. Little area of some low stratus cloud cover is sneaking in from Wisconsin. That will pass through here harmlessly. Sunny but chilly at noon, 33 degrees. Still sunny at 4 with that temperature a little bit above freezing. Right now, skies are clear at O'Hare and our lakefront. 27 at the big airport with a west wind at 13. That wind chill, what it feels like, 16. Still need the winter coats today, but you probably give them a rest for one day and one day only on Friday. All right, let's check in with Anthony, who's going to give us an update on our morning drive.
Okay, Mike, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Here's a look at those drive times. Things are still a little iffy on the inbound Stevenson. A accident happened right at Cicero. On the inbound side, that is in the process of being cleared up, but expect some delays right at Cicero as you're coming into the city. On the Kennedy, you're at 40 minutes inbound from O'Hare to downtown. On the Eisenhower, you're at 43 minutes inbound from Route 390 to downtown. It's a 38-minute ride on the Stevenson from I-355 to DuSable Lakeshore Drive. You're also in the red on the Dan Ryan. 32 minutes is your ride time inbound from 95th to downtown. Metro overall running smoothly, except for if you use the Rock Island line. A train that was supposed to get into Chicago about 4 minutes ago is running 15 to 20 minutes behind schedule. So if you use the Rock Island line, be sure to check that app.
7:01, going to some of our headlines. President Trump delivered his State of the Union address, making a pitch to Americans for why the country is on the right track.
Yes, the State of the Union speech comes just months before voters will go back to the polls for the midterm elections. Brian is here in studio with a recap. Brian?
Well, it was the longest State of the Union address in American history and the first official State of the Union of President Trump's second term in office. His speech covered a wide range of topics, with President Trump praising his administration's border and tariff policies and criticizing Democrats for their opposition. The president pausing frequently, prompting standing ovations from Republicans in the chamber.
Our nation is back. Bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before. My administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward. Our enemies are scared, our military and police are stacked, and America is respected again, perhaps like never before.
It was a packed House gallery for the president's address with a number of special guests, including the gold medal winning U.S. men's hockey team. Dozens of Democrats boycotted last night's speech as well. Anthony?
Okay, Brian, thank you very much. And following the president's address, the Democratic Party aired their rebuttal. It was delivered by newly elected Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger. She says the American people did not hear the truth from the president.
Because since this president took office last year, his reckless trade policies have forced American families to pay more than $1,700 each in tariff costs. Small businesses have suffered, farmers have suffered, some losing entire markets. Everyday Americans are paying the price.
Governor Pritzker responding to last night's address with a statement here that said, quote, after spending the last year wreaking havoc on American communities, Donald Trump once again spewed lies and attempted to gaslight the American people. We endured 2 hours of baseless claims, shameless propaganda, and the ramblings of a wannabe dictator outlining his plans to steal American elections. Illinois will keep standing up for the truth and work to hold this president and his administration accountable.
Texas Democrat Al Green was escorted out of the chamber just minutes really after the speech started. He was holding a sign that read, "Black people aren't apes." It's in reference to a video that President posted on True Social. Representative Green was kicked out of the president's joint address to Congress last year as well.
All right, a woman has now been charged in a deadly hit and run of an Uber Eats driver that happened earlier this week on the west side of the city.
Our Say Kwan joins us live with some details. Good morning, Say.
Hey, good morning to you. Chicago police tell us a Maywood woman is now facing murder and vehicular hijacking charges after allegedly hitting and killing an Uber Eats driver near Loretto Hospital. Police tell us this woman here, 33-year-old Montoya Perry, was arrested about 10 hours after she stole an Uber Eats driver's car and hit him before taking off. That Uber Eats driver was Daniel Figueroa, a 28-year-old man here from Downers Grove. He was found unresponsive just after 2 a.m. on Monday near Flournoy Street in the South Austin neighborhood. He was taken to Mount Sinai where he was pronounced dead. This morning, a GoFundMe page for Daniel is up and running. It was started by his girlfriend, Sandra, who's in this picture here. She's received over $6,000 in donations so far out of her $11,000 goal. She says in part, on February 23rd, 2026, my life changed forever when I lost my significant other, Daniel. He was the main provider for our home and the person I shared my life with. His passing has left not only an emotional void, but also a sudden financial burden that I never expected to face. She also adds, every day brings new challenges as I try to find a way forward for myself and our child. The weight of these responsibilities is overwhelming, and I am doing my best to stay strong for our family. Now, Sandra says those donations will go toward funeral and memorial costs, as well as monthly living expenses and outstanding bills. Meanwhile, Perry is scheduled to appear in court today at the Layton Criminal Courthouse sometime later this morning. Guys.
We'll be looking forward to that. Thank you, Say, for that report. 7:06, two daycare employees in Des Plaines are facing charges. They're accused of abusing children they're supposed to care for. Jessica Murillo and Isabella Thompson worked with a Mother's Touch daycare. Police say they physically abused 7 children in November. The children were reportedly 4 and 5 years old at the time. Investigators say Murillo hit one child in the face with a notebook and dragged another child across the floor by his foot. Another child was struck multiple times with an open hand. None of the victims suffered serious injuries. Murillo and Thompson have each been charged with battery.
Downers Grove police are releasing body cam video showing officers questioning and arresting the 19-year-old who was accused in the murder of a pregnant woman. This footage that you're looking at is taken from just a couple hours after the attack on January 26. Nadis Ravukas is accused of stabbing 30-year-old Eliza Morales dozens of times and then setting her and her home on fire.
I want to let you know, though, that there was a fire at that building. Mm-hmm. Are you aware of that?
No.
No, you're not worried.
Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest, okay?
And this all stemmed from a sale on Facebook Marketplace. Ravukas is due back in court March 3rd.
Indiana lawmakers are advancing a bill to bring the Bears across state lines. The bill funds the construction of a new stadium for the team in Hammond. Since the bill was amended in committee, it still needs approval by the Indiana State Senate and then signed by Governor Mike Braun to go into effect. Indiana's legislative session ends on Friday. 3 Republican candidates are vying for governor of Illinois. They're part of our Chicago Report debate series. They talked about the ongoing battle over a new Bears stadium.
Do you support Illinois legislation that would give the Bears the ability to negotiate their property tax rates with the municipality?
I don't. I think right now we have the highest property taxes in the country. People are just getting destroyed, whether southern Illinois, central Illinois, or even on the west side where they were burning their property tax bills. We should do all the public infrastructure that's fair and necessary that the public benefits from to support a stadium, but we shouldn't give the Bears anything, and we certainly should not give them breaks. But I love the Bears. I want them here.
So, yes, I have a diverse opinion than my opponent. I believe we should be keeping the Bears, and I think if we can get a stadium, especially a dome stadium, we'll get Super Bowls, we can do UFCs, concerts, pay-per-views.
Bears have every right to own their own stadium. They have 326 acres in Arlington Heights that they bought 3 years ago. I say that if I was governor, that stadium would be half built right now. What we're doing is we have a city inside of a city with 326 acres. It's so much more than a huge dome. And we get the Super Bowl, hundreds of millions of dollars coming of economic growth to our region.
Make sure you join us tonight at 6 for our debate series finale. It's a 2-part debate that will feature 6 Democrats running for the 9th Congressional seat,
All right.
9th District congressional seat. And you can watch him back, too, on Fox Local as well.
Submit your questions, too.
Yeah.
ParrisOnPolitics@fox.com.
And he did read, actually, one of those
Yes.
questions that were submitted to the panel last night.
Absolutely. Send them into Paris. Okay, there is the sunrise, 7:09. When is it coming out? It's like starting at 6:30 these days? That's
6:30.
great.
It won't be that long. What, like 3 weeks from today-ish? I think we'll have our vernal equinox. So we'll have that period of equal day, equal nighttime. There is plenty of sunshine out there right now, except across the far north. I just checked a little camera at my house, and it is perfectly cloudy there in northern Lake County. And if you look closely here, there's a little patch of some stratus sitting right there. It is moving to the southeast. It'll cross the area, providing a little cloud cover for a couple of hours, then moving on out of here. Temperatures are jacket-worthy for sure. We have 28 now at Chicago Heights and Gary, 27 at O'Hare and Waukegan, 24 at DeKalb, LaSalle, Peru, 27, and at Rensselaer, it's 24. Benton Harbor, west wind for you, actually holding temperatures up right around freezing. Today, I think we'll hit 36 degrees for the official high, so not a big warm-up from where we are now, but because we'll see more sun and it won't be as windy as yesterday, it may actually feel more pleasant to be outside than it did yesterday afternoon. The high yesterday, by the way, was 39. It happened at about 8:30 at night. Tonight, we're going to drop down into the low 20s. Skies will be clear to partly cloudy. A storm system safely gliding off to our south. But there is some snow in the forecast. I'll tell you when we have some chances for that in just a little bit. Plus a 50-something on the way, too.
Yes, can't wait. Mike, thank you so much. 7:11, we are getting more reaction to President Trump's State of the Union address. I'm going to be speaking with Illinois Democratic Congressman Mike Quigley after this break.
Aura.
Welcome back. The sun is getting higher and higher at 7:14 each day. We'll check in with Mike. It's going to be nice and sunny out there, a little cooler out there. Okay, President Trump delivered his State of the Union address last night. He broke his own record for longest speech nearly 2 hours, I should say, hour and 48 minutes. Things did get contentious in the chamber between the president and several Democrats in attendance. Okay, we are going straight to Congressman Mike Quigley. A number of Democrats skipped being there entirely, including Congressman Quigley, who joins us live from Washington with some of his thoughts on the speech itself. Mike, where did you weren't in the chamber. What was your plan? You watched it, right?
Yeah, I did, and I had a town hall with my constituents, indivisible, listened to what they had to say and the concerns they have with what's going on in our country. Seemed like a worthwhile use of our time.
What, if anything, before we break down the rest of the speech, what, if anything, did you agree with?
Congratulating the USA hockey team.
Okay, that was it.
Still play hockey. Yeah, still play hockey a couple times a week. Was happy to see them there. I wish we could have had the women's team as well. I think the invitation to them was a little disingenuous. But I hope we can honor them later.
Okay. Let's start with President Trump's comments on the economy. We want to take a quick listen at a bit of what he said and get your reaction.
But in 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. Mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that, 1 year. Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans.
All right, so Mr. Quigley, what's your reaction to those comments, especially when it comes to affordability for everyday Americans?
Yeah, I think what we've learned is you can't tell the American people how they feel or how things are for them. They know pretty well themselves. Going into last night, almost 2/3 of all Americans were unfavorable as how the economy is going. I think we probably put too much stock in what the State of the Union can do. I think it's pretty clear that last night's speech didn't move the needle. And there was a lack of vision of where we're going to go. What are we going to do to address the issues of affordability? It was simply everything's fine. Don't pay attention to what you're witnessing.
Congressman Quigley, in terms of his messaging on immigration and border enforcement, didn't seem like he spent a ton of time on this relative to other topics. What did you make of his messaging there?
I think, again, you have to look at what the American people are experiencing, what we witnessed here in Chicago. And the fact is, the vast majority of Americans disagree with how he's conducting policies through ICE. We saw here in Chicago not just the shootings, but targeting daycares. We saw a 20 to 50% decline in local businesses. In the Chamber of Commerce's I work with, they told me that between the ICE raids and tariffs, they were hurt more by that than COVID. So pretty telling. Our job is to help them get through this.
All right, there was some theatrics yesterday during the speech itself. The protests we saw, for example, the sign that Representative Green brought in. He's from Texas. We also saw some kind of back and forth between a couple of representatives and Donald Trump who were heckling during the speech. Do you think those kinds of protests help or hurt?
I don't think they're particularly helpful. People can do what they want. We all do what we think is most appropriate. I think the president probably did himself a disservice having the longest State of the Union in American history. Let's remember, no one knows who Edward Everett was. He spoke for 2 hours at Gettysburg. Lincoln spoke for less than 3 minutes and gave the greatest speech in American history. If you can't get your message across in a relatively short period of time, there's obviously a problem.
You yourself chose not to attend, as did a number of other Democratic colleagues of yours. What message were you trying to send by not being there?
You know, I don't know if I was trying to send a message. For me, remember, I was in those very chambers on January 6th, facing the insurrection that the president incited. 5 police officers died as a result of that insurrection. Without their courage, I'm not sure I would be here. I'm not sure our democracy would be here. So for me to want to be in the same room with the president who then pardoned those insurrectionists. I couldn't bring myself to do that.
President Trump said that he wanted to solve the Iran issue through diplomacy, but he also vowed to never allow them to have a nuclear weapon. What is your response to his messaging there and on Iran in general?
Look, when it comes to diplomacy, we had the JCPOA, which was a deal with Iran, which had enforced the Iranians were in compliance. They weren't moving forward with the nuclear program. The president pulled out of that deal, and since then, diplomacy's been very difficult. The alternative diplomacy just isn't an option. It means another war in the Middle East.
All right, Congressman Mike Quigley, we appreciate your time this morning, joining us to recap the speech. Thank you, sir.
Anytime. Thank you.
All right, it's 7:20 back here in Chicago, and I like this. We keep taking these shots of the sunrise, and
earlier and
I like
earlier.
how they're earlier and earlier, and it's nice and bright outside to start the day.
I enjoyed the congressman's reference to the Gettysburg addresses.
3 minutes,
Edward
right?
Everett and then Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln, after he delivered his short speech, thought it was a complete failure. And Edward Everett actually told him after the speech, you managed to encapsulate what I tried to do. It took 2 hours. I failed. Your speech will be the one that will be remembered. So interesting little bit of history there. All right, we've got sunshine out there. That's a good thing. There is a little bit of cloud cover coming in from the north. That will mix in with the sunshine here. But on the whole, I think today's going to be mostly sunny. Not as windy. And temperatures just a few degrees, bless you there, Anthony, just a few degrees cooler than normal. I think we'll muscle up to 36 degrees. Tonight, it is going to be cold. We'll drop down to 22, clear to partly cloudy skies. Not much wind, northwest at 5 to 10. You've probably heard about the big warm-up that is on the way. Yes, Friday is the day, and it's only a one-day heat wave, 55 degrees for the high with plenty of sunshine. Tomorrow, a storm system misses us almost entirely, way to the south. But look over the weekend. We got a shot of colder air in here, and that may be accompanied by a couple chances for some light snow here Saturday and again late Sunday. And there might be a little mixed bag of some snow and rain on Tuesday with a high temperature of 38. Beyond that, looks like temperatures climb right back up again, but it will be a little shot of colder air on the way. Anthony, you've now done with your sneezing. Give us a update.
Yeah. It's frustrating when an accident gets cleared up, but the congestion as a result is still there, and that's what we're seeing on the inbound Stevenson right now. There's an earlier accident at Cicero, but the fallout is still in effect. Your drive time inbound is 47 minutes. On the Kennedy, if you're coming in from O'Hare, it's a 50-minute ride to downtown, 47 minutes on the inbound Eisenhower from Route 390 to downtown. Again, 47 on the Stevenson from I-355 to DuSable Lakeshore Drive. And things stacking up a little bit more on the Dan Ryan. You're at 34 minutes from 95th to downtown. Metro is running smooth overall except on the Rock Island line. There have been a couple of delays this morning, so check that app if you take the Rock Island service line.
All right, thank you, Anthony. President Trump announces a plan to help lower utility bills during his State of the Union address. But residents in Northwest Indiana, they say they need help right now. We'll have all the details after this break.
Welcome back. Chicago might be facing a big financial hit. A judge says the city has overcharged people for city stickers and parking tickets, and now the city will owe millions. Residents could see collectively $70 million in refunds. And this all started with a complaint from one resident. That man right there, Kyle Garchar, says he racked up fines of $1,600 because of 4 city sticker violations. He's like, something doesn't seem right here. So he is one of 2 plaintiffs in a lawsuit against the city over parking sticker violations, being overcharged. Tickets turned into debt because of late fees. A judge says the city went way too far and ruled that the city violated state law by charging penalties that way exceeded a $250 cap on municipal fines.
Make no mistake, this practice has harmed the most vulnerable people in the city. End of story. And it's spanned now 3 different administrations, and not a single one of them has done anything about it.
This judge's ruling impacts more than 1 million tickets that have been issued between 2012 and 2022, a whole decade. Also wiped out nearly $94 million in unpaid fines and fees that the city has not collected and will not collect.
All right, this is a good story. 3 firefighters, they were named lifesavers in Cary after rescuing 2 people who fell through the ice on Lake Killarney last month. So it was Darlene Botine and her son Nathan. They were out ice fishing and they fell through the ice. 2 off-duty firemen, who are also happen to be brothers, came running from their own house to help. A 3rd neighbor also went into the water too and brought a ladder. Ben and Cody Delatorre, they didn't have rescue gear with them. The brothers only had an extension cord to provide as a tether.
I do it the same way. Anybody, I do it the same way. Same, coming from home, going right out there. With his extension cord or not, I still would have went out there and tried to pull him out.
I was there first, and I saw them both in the water, and I was like, well, luckily I got my extension cord, and then I saw my brother coming up the street in his truck. I'm like, oh, I got another person here with me.
Okay, eventually firefighter Kyle Ochab, he arrived in his dive gear to complete the save. The firefighters' names are inscribed now on a plaque, the award given for a life-saving rescue. All right, stay with us. We'll have much more after this break.
Book online.
Time is now 7:31. New this morning, a woman is charged with murder for allegedly killing an Uber Eats driver with his own car.
And the Republican candidates for governor went head-to-head in a debate right here on Fox Chicago. We will show you what each had to say about the Bears Stadium proposal.
First, President Donald Trump sets his sights on lowering utility bills, announced the Ratepayer Protection Pledge during his State of the Union address. It requires tech companies to build their own power plants for data centers.
The goal here is to protect people from rising bills. And as Brett Bagansky reports, people in Northwest Indiana say they need help now, not a few years from now.
You said you wrote to President Trump. What was that message?
Please get a hold of Governor Braun and to have him listen to what we are trying to say and what we are desperately looking for help.
This is Terry Logan from Hamlet, Indiana, who showed me her most recent NIPSCO bill of nearly $500.
People are struggling to get groceries or pay their NIPSCO bill, pay their rent, pay their NIPSCO bill. And that is something that we shouldn't have to do. This isn't the Depression era.
You can see Logan is on a payment plan, but told me she's now dipping into her savings just to afford to pay her NIPSCO bills.
It's tough because it's as much as a car payment.
Christine Shabai from Chesterton, Indiana, recently got a bill for more than $500 from NIPSCO, and it's impacted just about every financial decision she has to make.
So, when you go to Costco, you kind of think twice. When you're passing by the thermostat, you make it go down a little bit, put on a robe, but no one really knows what to do about it. How do you fight a behemoth like NIPSCO? I don't know.
What would be your message to the president, Governor Mike Braun, any other Indiana state lawmakers watching this?
Talk to your constituents, talk to people and see, sit down at their kitchen table with them, see what they're going through.
And it's just upsetting when we see they told about the Bear Stadium and things like that within the state of Indiana, when we're all wondering how are we going to pay our next NIPSCO bill.
Brett Bagansky, Fox Chicago.
All right, well, let's get a look at our drive times here as we get to 7:34 on your Wednesday morning. Things really stacking up outside. A lot of cars on the road. Everything's in the red. On the Kennedy, you're at 55 minutes inbound from O'Hare to downtown. On the Eisenhower Expressway, it's a 54-minute ride, Route 390 to downtown. On the Stevenson, 53 minutes inbound from I-355 to DuSable Lakeshore Drive. It's still congested when you get there to Cicero after an earlier accident, and not looking good on the Dan Ryan at all. It's almost 40 minutes inbound from 95th to downtown with some slowdowns as you approach the downtown area. And let's send things over to Mike for a look at weather conditions at 7:34.
Sun shining.
Yeah, there we go.
But do you see those little cumulus clouds out there?
I do.
They are.
Yes, that's the first time that we've seen those. I've been talking about this little area of some low cloud cover sneaking in from the north, and that is now invading our sky. We'll have a couple hours of these clouds, then they're going to move out here. We're going to see plenty of sunshine through the day. 27 now at O'Hare. West winds at 13 miles an hour, so we still have wind chills in the teens. I mean, it is a heavy jacket kind of a day, but I think that the afternoon hours going to feel rather pleasant out there. Take a look at the current temps. Down to 21 at DeKalb. That's a cold spot. 30 at the lakefront. Just updated that to 29. 27 degrees at Waukegan. 26 at Morris. 27 degrees at Valparaiso. We're only going to warm up, maybe 8-9 degrees from where we are now. Wind chills mainly in the mid to upper teens. Feels like 17, for example, at the lakefront. 16 in Grundy County, and about the same in Waukegan. We will see these clouds scattering out through the day. It'll end up being mostly sunny and not too windy, but it won't be perfectly calm. Tonight, a system misses us to the south. That will be the case tomorrow. I think tomorrow we'll see a mixture of clouds and sun, but I think mostly sunny is the way to go, and that will allow temperatures for most of us to get well into the 40s, but that's just the beginning. Friday is the day to get outside and enjoy some 50-degree temperatures, because after that, as we get out of February and go into March, there is some cold air on the way this weekend with a couple of chances for snow, both Saturday and Sunday. Too early to talk about amounts at this point. I'm not super impressed with that. The temperature staying a little bit on the cold side even into next Tuesday with a high of 38. Might be a mix of some wet snow or rain on Tuesday. Have a couple of photos that I'd like to show you. How about this scene? That's a colt napping on his mom. Jan Pisanich sent in this lovely shot here. I wonder if those horses have a name, or if, like the music group America, they're a horse with no name. That's an old one there, Gabrielle. That's a thank you for that, Jan. And then I took this picture about a week and a half ago over Lake Zurich. I was coming in there to try out a new restaurant, and it was a gorgeous sunset there. Beautiful body of water there, and just snapped a shot, and I think it's a nice one there with the reflection over kind of an icy lake. It is 7:37 on the Nosy. We'll be back with more of Good Day Chicago after this.
Welcome back, 7:40 now. All right, there's a lot of reaction this morning over the president's State of the Union address last night. We have Jim Durkin, the former State House Minority Leader, joining us via Zoom this morning. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Gabby.
All right, let's first get your overall reaction. This is a big question to what the president said in the speech, what you liked, what you would like to have seen.
Well, let me just start. You know, the pep rally of the State of the Union address. That's the nature of it. It's a pep rally for the nation, but it is what I saw last night was a pep rally for Donald Trump. And it's typical of him using the moment to self-aggrandize the moment, promote himself, as opposed to talking about what's good for the nation. That's the problem that I've seen with this man from the day he took office until last night.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of one of my questions here as we get about 7 months away from the midterm now. you think that his messaging pretty much last night, did it resonate, or do you think it's going to cause, it sounds like, some bigger headaches for Republicans?
It'll resonate with the people who are faithful followers, the members of Congress, and and his dedicated group of MAGA, who I don't really think are Republicans. But he is going on a path of losing control of the House and possibly the Senate with the way that he not only acts, but also his failed domestic and also international policies. He did not connect with substance on major issues. I don't know how he can say that the United States is doing, the economic condition of the United States is at an all-time high. All you have to do is just go anywhere, and you can find that the prices of everything is doubled. The cost of everything is so much more. Look, Joe Biden screwed up this economy back during his term, but Donald Trump has not helped it. He made a promise that he was going to tackle inflation. He has not. This failed, this really, really nearsighted approach on his tariffs, which, if you look at history, you go back to Herbert Hoover when he did that, it was one of the causing factors of our Great Depression. It doesn't work. And that has caused turmoil with so many people who are struggling more than they ever have in their lifetime. And I'm very concerned about what happens in this midterm election. But the fact is, he is a person that cannot be, you cannot reason with him. And, his first term, he put people in positions that would stand up to him. But right now, he's got a bunch of yes people who are just going along with whatever he feels he wants to do at the moment. And it's concerning for me as a Republican, but I'm more concerned for the nation.
Kind of speaking on that, not everyone was his best friend in the crowd there, because we know a lot of Democrats also ended up boycotting the address. And we know our political divide is pretty much arguably worse it has been in decades. There's always going to be kind of a reasonable difference between the parties. But what needs to be done, you think, just to get them to at least respect each other?
Well, it starts at the top, and it starts with the president. And unfortunately, President Trump continues to be the divider in chief, and he is not going to change who he is. I will just say last night, the Democrats, I think it was embarrassing that many of them did not attend the State of the Union address. No matter what your disdain is for the man, you respect the office, you respect the institution. And I thought that was a mistake for the Democrats to boycott the speech yesterday. Sit down, don't clap, but attend the address. That, to me, is part of the job. But with respect to the divide that we have in this nation, it's not going to happen with Mr. Trump. It's not going to happen with President Trump. It's just not how he is wired. That's not how he conducted business, and that's not how he is going to finish out his term.
All right, Jim Durkin, former State House Minority Leader, thank you so much for your time this morning.
My pleasure, Gabby. Thank you so much.
7:44. All right, here's a look at what's coming up on Good Day Chicago at 8 and 9. Be sure to keep it right here. Welcome back at 7:47, taking a live look at no other place than Soldier Field here. The sun is shining on the stadium as we figure out what's going to be happening the next couple years. Speaking of, Indiana lawmakers, they're advancing a bill to bring the Bears across state lines. The bill funds the construction of a new stadium for the team in Hammond, Indiana. Since the bill was amended in committee, it still needs approval by the Indiana State Senate and then signed by Governor Mike Braun to go into effect. Indiana's legislative session ends on Friday. The Republican candidates, they're vying for governor of Illinois.
They joined Paris Schutz for a debate that aired right here on Fox Chicago, and they talked about the ongoing battle over a new Bears stadium.
Do you support Illinois legislation that would give the Bears the ability to negotiate their property tax rates with the municipality?
I don't. I think right now we have the highest property taxes in the country. People are just getting destroyed, whether Southern Illinois, Central Illinois, or even on the west side where they were burning their property tax bills. We should do all the public infrastructure that's fair and necessary that the public benefits from to support a stadium, but we shouldn't give the Bears anything, and we certainly should not give them breaks. But I love the Bears. I want them here.
So, yes, I have a diverse opinion than my opponent. I believe we should be keeping the Bears, and I think if we can get a stadium, especially a dome stadium, we'll get Super Bowls, we can do UFCs, concerts, pay-per-views.
Bears have every right to own their own stadium. They have 326 acres in Arlington Heights that they bought 3 years ago. I say that if I was governor, that stadium would be half built right now. What we're doing is we have a city inside of a city with 326 acres. It's so much more than a huge dome. And we get the Super Bowl, hundreds of millions of dollars coming of economic growth to our region.
All right, make sure you join us tonight at 6 for our debate series finale. It's a two-part debate, and it will feature 6 Democrats running for the 9th District congressional seat. You can also watch, some of these past debates on Vox Local. As Anthony has said as well, you can actually email Paris Schutz at parisonpolitics@fox.com, and you can give some suggestions on questions as well.
Yeah, he's been using those submitted questions from viewers, so get them in. It's 10 minutes till 8 o'clock. Let's take a quick look at our drive times. We had to break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Tommy Schaefer, the former boyfriend of Heather Mack, has been released from prison in Bali. The Chicago Tribune says he is heading here to Chicago. He will be in court tomorrow. If you will recall, he was sentenced to 18 years in prison for murdering Heather Mack's mother, Sheila Von Weiss Mack, back in 2014 in Bali. Heather Mack, Sheila's daughter, was sentenced to 10 years in prison. She was released in 2021. After serving 7 years, she was released early on good behavior. She was deported back to the U.S. and arrested upon landing in Chicago. Once back in the U.S., Mack was charged with conspiracy to murder and was sentenced to 26 years in prison back in 2024. The U.S. State Department is working to get Americans in Mexico who are stranded there back home after this wave of violence that rocked the country following the takedown of Jalisco's drug lord El Mencho. Right now, shelter-in-place advisories remain in effect for Americans in Puerto Vallarta right now and nearby areas. Most flights remain suspended. The White House says no Americans have been hurt or killed.
24 days after Nancy Guthrie disappeared from her Arizona home, her family is offering a large new reward for her return. They're offering $1 million for reward for information leading to the return of their mother. Now, Savannah Guthrie, she shared a new video acknowledging that they will remain hopeful, but their family does realize that the search for their mother may not end with her rescue.
She may have already gone home to the Lord that she loves. And if this is what is to be, then we will accept it. But we need to know where she is. We need her to come home.
Savannah Guthrie also announced her family would be donating $500,000 to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
Plenty more Good Day Chicago to get to right ahead, so keep it right here. We'll be right back. The director of the CIA joined Secretary of State Marco Rubio to brief top lawmakers about the ongoing situation with Iran. The U.S. currently has the largest number of warships and aircraft carriers in that region in decades. President Trump continues signaling military strikes would happen if the two sides can't reach a deal on Iran's nuclear program. Talks in Geneva are set for tomorrow.
A courtroom loss for Charlie Kirk's accused killer. A Utah judge has declined to disqualify the local county attorney's office from prosecuting 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. His defense team argues there was a conflict of interest because the prosecutor's daughter was at the event where Kirk was killed. Prosecutors plan to seek the death penalty against Robinson, who has not entered a plea. Spirit Airlines has reached a deal with lenders to save it from going under. The airline first filed for bankruptcy protection back in November 2024 and again in August last year. The filings were made after Spirit suffered significant losses during the pandemic. The company says it expects to emerge from bankruptcy by early summer.
Warner Brothers Discovery is receiving a revised offer from Paramount Skydance. The company says Paramount has raised the price of its takeover offer to $31 per share. So this potentially sets the stage for a fresh bidding war with Netflix. Paramount's offer previously stood at $30 per share. And a massive snowball fight prompted an investigation in New York City. Police say someone pelted snowballs at officers, several of them, despite warnings not to. The snowball fight broke out in the wake of this week's winter storm. Cops were also